children protective services immediately. This is absolute nonsense, woman. It has come to my attention that there is a show called Decorating Sense that was a huge hit in the 90s. I can't believe that I had never seen this until today. I don't know who started posting these videos online, but we have compiled probably the most criminal, and I'm gonna say the worst possible design tips that they could have done. I get it. I was told they were on a very low budget, but what they have done, I haven't even seen all of them yet. This is gonna be a live reaction because these are, I've only heard terrible things, so let's get right into it.
Piece. It got a fresh coat of the same sage green paint we used on the horseshoe diamonds. Then we decoupaged sacred Indian prayers dipped in tea and torn to give an aged look onto the wall unit to give an old piece of furniture a trendy, new look. Next, we accessorized it. A black metal horse found at a local flea market for $12, fresh sunflowers, and an authentic cowboy hat perched on top of a $14 ammunition box. As we took a moment to admire our craft work, we unanimously decided we had made a mistake. The decoupage did work on the back of the shelf walls, but we felt it was much too busy on the door fronts. So we went to work undoing our mistake. We peeled, we scraped, and then in the process of removing the decoupage, we had a second pleasant surprise. We loved the distressed, aged look we had mistakenly created. We had planned on repainting the doors, but we loved this aged look.
What? What in God's name did they plan on doing with this? It started off fun. I was like, okay, you're gonna repaint a piece, a nice beautiful sage, but I'm sorry, sacred Indian prayers. You're gonna take a book that has sacred Indian prayers, you're gonna rip it up and decoupage it on furniture? The 90s really didn't give a fuck. There was no wokeness, there was no awareness because, oh, if someone's like, I'm taking the Bible and I'm decoupaging it on this, oh my God, they'd be after them for their head. They'd be in jail for like defamation. Oh, this is like, I feel like, is this what psychosis feels like? They were so happy and excited about this. And when they said they made a mistake, I was like, okay, good. They've realized it. And then like, oh, we're gonna peel it off, but we like the aged look. This is a child's arts and crafts situation. I can't believe that this is how we started because this is like offended me so greatly. This is jailable on all counts. First of all, Indian prayers, then you have a cowboy hat and an ammunition box. I feel like this is very coded with racism here. I wonder if there's any good ones.
And opening up the top, you can see locks of her children's first haircuts and other mementos that she will never part with.
I'm sorry, what? She keeps her children's hair and other mementos in this, I don't even know what to call this, some kind of like vintage built-in like, oh. I mean, my friend, when she was really young, held onto her baby teeth, and I thought that was weird. But your mother's holding onto locks of your hair? This is some like voodoo witchcraft doll shit. I'm a huge fan of horror movies, but this is like next level. If I knew that my parent was keeping my hair or my teeth, and no, jail. If they continued this clip and they opened it and there was toenail clippings in there, call Children Protective Services immediately.
Hell no.
I love what you have done above your headboard. You've got to tell me about that.
Thank you. Those are my kids' overalls. I have 2 boys and a girl, and I didn't want to stick them in a box into the basement, so I bought a little rod and hung them up.
It looks great.
Thanks. You know what it does for me is after a really hard day, I can come up and see those little overalls and everything's okay.
Good.
Right above the pound town, you're gonna put your children's stuff. I love that she also is wearing overalls, so clearly it like goes with the family. Like adding those above the head is giving like victims clothing that they're just hanging in a house, like at a trap house. This is, it also could be a shrine to their deceased children, like, which could be another great thing, but not really. This is the same energy of like making lampshades out of your children's skin. Like this is a horror movie waiting to happen. Although, you know, actually no, there's nothing I like about this at all. You know what? It could be innocent. They could just be like drying their kids' clothes, but I don't know why you would want that above your bed, but I'm glad they're happy about it.
Begin by sewing tab loops to 2 standard pillow shams. In our case, we coordinated the check tabs to the quilt. Then thread the shams onto a curtain rod. This will create a balance-like effect. When you attach the rod to the wall, make sure you hang it low enough to simulate a headboard. This unique, one-of-a-kind headboard has dual functions. It serves as a decorative headboard and, more importantly, as a headrest when reading in bed.
Oh, this is great.
Isn't this comfortable?
This is exactly what I need in my... I don't have a headboard. This would be great.
And the other thing is that if you have a twin bed, you can just buy one pillow and do it above a twin bed, and you can change it for winter and summer.
What a great idea. And great for a kid's room.
So great and comfortable.
Yes, we just sit here for a while. This is cool, too. You did this out of a sheet?
One sheet. This was, I think, a queen sheet, if I remember correctly, and I just kept using it. And it really, you get a lot of bang for the buck with one sheet.
You got a lot of bang for the buck because you used it. We're going to be using it over in the window seat area, too, right?
Yep.
Oh my God. Imagine being the host of a TV show and not being able to have or afford a headboard. And they're like, it simulates. Don't ever say it simulates a headboard. That sounds so off-putting. Oh, and the fact that they had to use like 20 different sheets to create this like quilt. Oh my God, it is so visually overwhelming by the patterns, the stripes, the polka dots going in every angle. And the fact that they had that little clip like they were about to like have a little pillow fight. Thank God this is one of a kind because ain't nobody else gonna want this. This isn't looking too promising, people. We're off to a terrible start. There's not a single good one yet.
First, we removed the wall border with water. It just peeled off. Then we rolled on the base coat in a warm tan color. For rag rolling, it's best to use an oil glaze. This is slow drying so that you'll have plenty of time to work on the finish. And as you'll see in a minute, it holds a pattern of rag prints distinctly. Next, I rolled on a glaze that resembles a worn leather color. Then following right behind me, Nancy used the rag roller to lift off the paint to create texture. This is simple to do, but you have to work fast to treat the paint before it dries. It helps if there are two of you working together when covering a large area like this wall. With the rag rolling completed, we admired the look we had created. It resembled a chamois, much like a buckskin effect. This simple window treatment is a birch branch found outdoors. 8 multicolored bandanas, $1 each, were knotted end to end. Then this colorful swag was draped over the birch bark branch. Total cost for the window, just $8. We pushed the original dresser back into place under the window. Because the dresser was in good shape, we added real birch hardware to the drawers to warm it up. An easy fix, just $50 for the hardware.
Love this wall.
Isn't this great?
It just gets better and better when it dries.
It looks like leather.
Yeah, and what I love about it, when I think about my kids and I think about walls, I think about fingerprints.
Fingerprints,
Don't need to worry
fingerprints,
about
nothing. I mean, it's really a nice surface.
feet prints. I'm not going to touch it. I don't know. This I love though.
This was a steal at a flea market for $24. And what's so cute about it, this is an old drafting table. That's why it tilts. And rather than sit at the desk, which we think our kids are going to do, and they have never sat at a desk in their lives, they can display their art or read or color or do whatever they want. It's so cute.
Do you remember the show Art Attack in the 90s? Because this is like a nightmare episode of that. Bless their heart. The fact that she called the tied up bandanas the colorful swag is sending me. It only cost $8. Yeah, I could tell it cost $8. Oh, and the branch that they found from outside that they... The fact that this was the 90s, this is just giving me the vibe that that birch branch on the top, if I said something wrong to my parents, that was coming down and that's what I was getting beat with. As dark as that is, oh, these poor kids have been punished. And the textured walls, oh, you have to work fast and have someone to do it with you. Like, you both destroyed this room for, these poor children.
Just cut out little bits here and there to make it a very random look. Then, with my 5-inch chinking roller full of paint, I can start at a level line and roll 2 chinking lines at once. Then, lightly mark off the next line and roll another 2, altering the 5-inch and 7-inch rollers. Once the chinking is complete, brush on a swath of the same light-colored paint and quickly follow with a graining tool. The graining tool will give you the look of wood as long as you roll it forwards and back as you pull it through the paint. Once the white paints are dry, come back over the wood-grained area with a darker brown. Using sort of a dry brush technique, with just a little bit of paint on your brush, add as much brown as you like to create the depth of color you want for your log cabin look. Let the brown set up for a moment, then follow with a damp cloth to wipe off any of the excess. And then every few boards, you might want to step back and take a look. You may want to use your damp cloth to lighten the chinking lines even more. And there you go. I'll bet you never thought you could build your own log cabin out of paintbrushes and a couple fancy rollers.
Does DIY stand for destroying it yourself? Because this is like next level. I love that she took out the leveler. Like that was going to make those lines straight. I appreciate that she's like, make sure you step back to appreciate your work and just kind of like visually change if you need to. You destroyed the wall. Joan, you destroyed the wall. Just paint it over. It would have looked better as a single color. The faux wood, oh my God, this. I'm glad she didn't like dig into the drywall to make it look textured because, wait, I spoke too soon. Watch, that's going to be on another episode. 5 years in jail minimum for this one.
This is not something you see in every home, decorating with a dirty t-shirt.
No, it's not. This is a camping trip that we went on with the kids, and this is one day of my little boy's play, and I decided that it was just too great to wash. It really explains who his personality is.
Yeah, it really says it all. Okay, one more thing. I'm trying to think of a word to describe this. I'm not sure what that word is. Would you go for odd?
Odd works.
Odd works. I mean, we got a skillet, we've got a shovel, and we have horseshoes.
When he was getting into country western, I thought I'd humor him along a little bit. So I gave this to him as a Christmas gift.
What do you think?
He thought I was insane.
What does he use it for?
Well, he's got his books in it. He keeps it by his chair. We use it for an end table. And he uses it for his dirty laundry. You can just kind of throw it over it.
You might want to think about moving it someplace.
I might.
Oh my God. What in the actual... She's like, oh, when I gave it to my son, he thought it was insane. Girl, you are insane. You need help. You need therapy. But this poor child... There's medicine for this woman. Oh my God. But to take the dirty shirt and just put it on the wall, girl, that's not decor. This looks like the t-shirt died for our dirty sins. I need a son reveal because I need to say blink twice if you need help. Because I don't know what that little odd creation that she made. Oh, I gave it to him for Christmas. I'm sorry, but if my mother gave that to me for Christmas, I would have rather had nothing. What are you doing with that? I use it for my books and my dirty laundry. It's rusty. There are rusty horseshoes and a rusty shovel. I hope they have their tetanus shot. That's all I'm saying. All I'm gonna say is killers also often keep trophies of their victims.
Next, we hung the owner's buffet shelf above the sink. We found this shelf in her dining room. This will be used for storing items typically found in a medicine chest. Above the shelf, we added a $34 mirror. Then we placed vintage accessories on the shelf. This antique lamp was a steal at $34, and this old tin mold is a wonderful soap dish. And this old comb holder, well, it's perfect for toothbrushes. Total cost for the accessories, $49. On this wall, we placed a primitive farm bench. Cost, $41. We left this bench in its original condition. We love the old, worn look the years had created. To increase light and reflection in this windowless room, we hung a false window mirror centered above the bench. This is a salvaged window that had these wonderful stained glass inserts around the edge. Behind the stained glass, we added tiny holiday lights for sparkle. On each side of the mirror, we attached 4 antique wrought iron hooks at different heights. These cost just $5 each. Hooks are much easier for kids to use and will look neater than if we had hung a towel rack. Hooks will also make it simpler for the kids to keep their towels separate from each other.
You're not getting any parole for this because this was an absolute nightmare. First of all, why do you need a bench besides the toilet? And you called it primitive? Girl, it's just aged. It's broken down. It's like, I hope you don't need someone sitting beside you when you're on the toilet because that's a whole other thing. Based on the last video, I know they have a leveler. Why the hell did they not level out those hooks? I'm fine with the hooks over a towel bar, but placing them randomly on the wall and then just like cramming the towels folded on top of them so they just take up more visual space. Don't worry about safety because these are now hooked at children's eye level. So it's okay. Once again, they're going to call. Someone needs to call for their help because children got no say in this, and I feel like they would have wanted to say. You put everything old and rusty and falling apart in a bathroom. First of all, everything that's old you got from an old antique farm or even a farm in general. This wood is very old and damaged and porous, and you know what that kind of wood does? It absorbs smells. In a windowless bathroom, as she mentioned. Also, the little lights behind the stained glass mirror window is a crime. This looks absolutely horrible. Are you going to plug those in every time you want to turn them on? 'Cause I don't know if any of you lived in the country, but if you did, we didn't have garbage pickup. We had to go to a dump to drop everything off. And most time at these dumps, they had one of those like reuse centers where there's things that were like broken, but not completely broken. They thought someone might want to use them. They must have had a field day with this. They went and they just grabbed everything. We're keeping this for any renovation that we're going to be doing on HGTV because she needs to be barred from dumps and yard sales because she's racking up the offenses here.
8 multicolored decorative plastic plates were displayed across the top of the soffit for eye-popping appeal. And the best thing about these plates? The price. They cost just $5 each. We custom-built this shadow box to display art, a message board, photos, utensils, and decorative objects. Look closely and you can see our handiwork. We painted some of the backs of the box in the same accent colors as the soffits, red, lime green, and turquoise. The rest, we wallpapered. The reason we hung such a bold piece on this large wall is because the kitchen needed an architectural accent to balance the room. Now the eye travels naturally from the window area to this section of the kitchen. And another area the eye travels naturally to, the place where the food is served. Our budget allowed us to purchase these melamine fruit and vegetable dishes, a colorful rug, and refrigerator magnets. What kitchen isn't complete without magnets arranged in a checkerboard pattern to coordinate with the checkerboard wallpaper, of course?
Dear God, what the fuck were you thinking? We need an architectural element. Girl, you built a grid system with lime green, teal, red, and black and white checkerboard. In what world have these colors ever looked good together? And then hanging the plastic plates. It says she spent $75 on accessories. Girl, you could have gone to like a Goodwill and spent $20 and done a way better job. I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna give her 1 point for making the checkerboard cohesive. At least she kind of carried that in with a few patterns, but still no. This is absolute nonsense, woman. This is worse than some of the Instagram and TikTok DIY fails that I've reviewed before. There is not a single thing that I have seen in any of these that can justify this absolute massacre that they did to these rooms. I would have loved to be a fly on the wall watching this being filmed. Like, there's no way that the people that lived here went to this be like, oh my God, this is a great... No. I would not be able to put on a fake face to be like, yeah, Joan, you did a great job. They'd probably paint over me if I was a fly on the wall and be like, look at this texture. No, girl, that's the landlord special. We're not doing that. This is way worse than the landlord special. At least the landlord special, you can kind of like, make it livable because it's all one color. This is saturated colors everywhere, have never looked good in any time period throughout the design ages. I wonder if she's still alive because I need to rack up the fines of this. We're gonna have like a stack. Gosh, I hate whoever put me onto this because I am so concerned now. And this woman had seasons, not just the show, seasons of the show ruining people's home. Oh, that's enough for today. I'm gonna leave it at that because if I had to watch those, you need to see how bad these were as well. But honestly, I feel like this needs to become its own series. I've loved my DIY TikTok and reviews, and I have an entire playlist that you need to watch. I at least find some good ones. This one was just, they were all bad. And I'm kind of okay with it that they were all bad because she deserves to be in jail for what she's done, and I will hold her accountable. If anyone knows the survivors of these crimes that are still alive today, please let me know, because I am going to start a class action lawsuit immediately. Thank you for watching me enjoy this truly tragic mess. And you can always follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Mr. Phoenix Gray to see all my daily tips and tricks where, I actually share some positive light and good design items and orientations to create a coordinated space to avoid this tragic mess, because this is just absolute garbage. If you're ever second guessing yourself, just ask, what would Design Daddy do? Fire Joan. Fire her immediately, and she's a witch, people. Witch!